Good evening, everyone. Hello. Happy Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Hey, Walter and Michelle, how are you both? Hope everyone's having had a good week and is ready for the long weekend if you get the long weekend. So we're just kind of catching things up. Okay, I see we're live. Let me see if I turn down my volume here, if I figure out where I put my remote control. All right. So in the comments, if you scroll up to the top, and I know Penny probably will do it later, she pops in. I have let me lower that a little bit so I see there's some shine. I have added a collection. It's not a bundle, but it's a collection and is items I am using this evening. Kind of figured out how to do that. So I'm hoping to do that going forward so that you can see that for the whole week. When I post my card, I can post the link that if you want a couple of the products or not. So we're going to make a challenge card tonight because the challenge for this month is florals. And of course, I'm looking for my paper pad. I'm going to switch the camera over here. Good, Michelle. I'm glad you're doing great. We're going to use the baby shower paper pad tonight, but we're not going to make a baby card. I wanted to use this as inspiration. I was kind of looking at some of the papers that we did. Hi, Karen. And I haven't used this one yet. Hi, Penny. So if you haven't got our paper pads before, on the back it tells us where we're coordinated with. I do know that Lagoon and Flamingo are out of stock right now. They will be coming back. So I don't remember if I linked Flamingo. But Phone Book and Jack-o'-lantern are in stock right now. You can sign up for notifications for the Flamingo. It should be coming back in. Like I said, I don't, let me see if did I add Flamingo? I did not add it because it was out of stock yet, but it will be coming back. But we're also going to use cabbage, but we're going to use this as our main inspiration. And then I have some other dyes that we are going to use for florals. I pulled the Fabulous Floral die, which is great. I will tell you for both of these, I have two sets. One when I got them, and then they were on sale one time, so I bought them. I will say I love having two sets for all of these sets here because I can cut multiple. So I have the Fabulous Florals. I've already got most of this all die cut out. This was the die of the month a couple of months ago. It's called the Playful Petals. And I do have two sets. And the reason I in particular have two sets is because this is a die where you can break them apart like this, or you can also have them together, and I'll show you what they look like depending. And I like the option. You can also, this is I think this is the smaller one. This is the one that goes with the different, I have all my dies that are loose here, goes with this one. But you can line them back up and just cut them if you want them separate. But I wanted the option to have both. So, and that is so that I can cut this floral out. Here, I'll show you. So here's the die. And it cuts it out. When you have it cut as one piece, sorry, I have mine in here. I have a very tight die cutting machine. So I've been doing a lot of die cutting. So it's a little snug right now, but it will come out. I need to do some more die release sheets on them. Okay, so it comes out and it cuts them. See how easy those pieces flop out of there? It looks like, let me pull a piece of paper up. This is what it looks like. So this is what the die looks like when you have them connected like this. I actually did not cut one out with just this. I probably could have done that, but you would, I can do that so I can show you. But what I did is I also cut this out so that I have this piece so I can layer it behind, because I did not want to necessarily have to pop those pieces back in. You can die cut easily, do that and put those back in. But for me, the ease of having two different colored flowers was nice. I will die cut this out like this so you see what it looks like. This you can cut out, I believe, and it doesn't it cuts the flower into your paper, but it doesn't make the shape. So you have the flower shape. I forgot to do that. And then the last two die sets I have is the, this is a heavily die cut card, is the Harvest Foliage. And then the acorns and twigs, which I'm just going to use this. I love this floral, so that's why I have that set tonight. But this one, this harvest foliage has so many great leaves, and I cut out a bunch of different ones, and I thought they go perfectly along with our dies for tonight. So let us get started here. I want to make sure I don't lose my dies. I'll throw them in my little bin here. And then these are just some Amazon packaging pouches that I just buy, just some generic ones that have a flap on them so they keep my dies all in. Okay. And then for sentiment, I pulled a few sentiment sets. We'll decide that later. All right, for baby shower, I already had pulled the paper pads. These are the different designs. As you can see, polka dots, um, argyle, stripes, zigzags. I'm not exactly sure what this would necessarily be called, this type of pattern, but we've got the yellow, orange, and blue, and the yellow, orange, and pink. And I thought maybe I would go for a background. I want to use 2 different papers, so I'm going to pull this one, and I'm going to pull, I think we're going to do those 2. Okay. So please, let me know if you have any questions. And then I also, for inspiration, pulled one of Jess Crafts. I know Christopher used one of these. I pulled the 6x6 paper busting template numbers 47. This is by jesscrafts.com. I know you can, if you go to her YouTube channel, you can look to find specific ones. Or she does have them available. I think you can buy the whole set together, like on her Etsy shop, so you don't have to download them one by one. But I'm going to use that as my inspiration for my card base. So this tells me we're going to take a 6x6 and we're going to get, technically we'd get 4 cards. We're probably only going to make 2 tonight. So out of here, thank you for that, Penny, jesscrafts.com. So it's fun to follow her and watch. So it tells me it's 4.5 by 3 and then 1.5 by 3. So I need one. There's a 6x6, so we're going to do 4.5. And I'm going to cut both of my pieces of paper down like this. And cut them both at 4.5. And this is not a directional paper, so I don't have to worry too much about, I mean, this is zigzag. So if you want the zigzags to go this way, you'd have to be conscious of it. But it's not like it's got an upside down pattern. So this one's 4.5 as well. And then sometimes after I cut them, I might change my mind a little bit and trim them down a little bit. We are going to mat these, but I think we'll be okay. And so then it tells me I need them by 4.5 by 3, and it's 1.5 by 3. So it's 4.5 this way. This will be, this is the 1.5, right? So now I just need to cut them in half. Oops. Measure once, measure twice, cut once. By 3. So we've got those 2, and then this one I'm going to cut by 3 as well. So does anyone have any fun holiday plans this weekend going on? I have a special guest with me tonight. She's not on camera or participating with us, but my daughter is right over here, and she's waving at the camera. And she is in the process of bedazzling a Jason mask. She is a big Halloween fan, but she works with ballroom dancing. I think I've talked to you guys about this before, and they have an event coming up on a Friday the 13th, and I think this is going to be part of her costume. So I'm really excited. It's fun to watch her. She's using like a crystal Catan type, picker, jewel pickle. It's the one with the metal on the other side, and she's doing that. You're going to the Fabulous Fox tomorrow to see and Juliet. Oh, and Haley's name, her name is Haley. So hello, Candy Sutter. Her name is Haley. Last Broadway show for the season. Hi, Isis. You're listening while you're at a scrapbook crafting retreat. How fun. You did some card panels and now you're moving on to albums. That is great. I actually have a video coming up on Wednesday on my YouTube channel, which is Sugar Cards by Candy. Trying to think, what did I even do? It was florals. And to be honest with you, I have it finished, but I don't even remember what I used right now. Walter, when we get close to the end, I'll have her show you how much she's got done. But I already told Christopher I'd send him a photo, so I'll make sure I'll let you see what it looks like because I know you when she'll have it done before she goes home next week, and we'll make sure you guys can see a picture of it in the fan club group. Okay, so on her template, she also does give you the measurements for the masks if you the mats. Sorry, I can't speak tonight. If you want, sometimes I just kind of eyeball it. We're going to use, for one, I'm going to use jack-o'-lantern, just because jack-o'-lantern's in stock, and the other one I'm going to use phone book, and then we'll use the flamingo for the flowers and things like that. So I have some half sheets that I'm going to see if will work, just because I'm trying not to cut down full pieces of paper until we need them. So I may need more than one piece. And I just put my die cut thing away. So it is, so far, she's just getting started. But she's got some of the red, and she's working around the holes and stuff, and it's looking pretty cool, but she's literally just getting started on it. If funny story, I mean, I know she doesn't care. She she likes to do Halloween costumes and stuff like that. And the one year she was practicing, and she did a mask on her face in about 2.5 to 3 inches. Well, no, about 2 inches around her eyeballs and her nose, and black. And then she put googly eyes all over them. And she talked to us the whole time while she was doing it. And she was like, at the end, she was shaking her head, and she's like, this is getting kind of freaky. So, because it was just so, the sound and stuff, but it was pretty funny. It was her practice. So since it's 4.5 by 3, I'm going to go to, what is that? 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. Is that what that is? I don't even know if she has that as the measurement. She has 4.75, but I don't know if I want that big of a mat. Let's try it. We'll do the first one at 4.75 and see what it looks like. By 3.25. I'll see what that looks like. Thank you. That is my YouTube and my Instagram. Yeah, so this is how we might be able to use that as a mat. We'll do one on each like that. So that means this one needs to be, yep, 4.4 and 5/8. We'll do this one as a skinnier one. Fletch has joined us as well, but he is on the floor, keeping a very close eye on Haley. And this is 3, so about 3.25. So not quarter, 3.125. And what I do is I just kind of put it halfway between the two marks, because these are quarter marks. I just put it halfway, and so it's like good enough. So there is our options. So you can see that. See, here's the option with the thinner, and here's the thicker. So it's just all kind of on what you prefer. So we've got that. And then I may need one more piece of paper. So then the other one is we need 1 and, what is that? 1 3/4. Yep, 1 3/4 by 3. Math. Doing math each time. No, it's not 3, it's 3.25, isn't it? 3 1/4. Yep. Oh, we need the polka dot for this one. Yes, thank you. I do have the affiliate link. If you would like to use that, you are welcome to. Thank you very much, Penny. I do, any links that I post in the description usually are affiliate links. They do not cost anything extra for you. But if you do place an order, I do get a small little kickback for that, and I appreciate it, but it is nothing. I also have a code. If you're not a subscriber, I believe you can use, if you're a subscriber, it won't work with your subscriber discount. But if you use Sugar Cards by Candi, you get a little one too. Okay, this one needs to be 1 and, I don't even know, 1/8, 1 1/8 by 3. That does not seem right. That is not right. What size is this? Oh, yeah. Oh, see, I didn't look at my measurements. 1.75, right? So 1 and 7/8. And then by 3 and 1/8 for the skinny mat. Okay. Hi, Tia. How are you? Haley has joined us this evening. She is not on camera, of course. She is over in the other side of the room, she's working on a craft project herself. Hope you have some fun plans this weekend. Okay, so there we've got those, and then we need to do some orange. So then we're gonna start putting our card together. So the biggest thing to making this card is probably all your die cutting and then your measurements. Your cutting of your paper. And then once you put it to, it's kind of easy kind of put together. The nice thing about using some things like this paper busting template is that you got your basics and then you can just put a focal point on it and it was. Oh yes, thank you, Penny. If you spend $5 through Sunday evening, you will receive a freebie Friday. It's a red, white, and blue dual foil sheets. They will automatically be added to your cart. If you spend, I don't know if there's $60 or more, there's an incentive stamp. While supplies lasts. That's a cute little honey or Pooh Bear with a little honey pot. It's called Hello Sweet Friend. And I also wanted to say this is the last week for subscriptions. So if you want any of the Pooh subscriptions, you want to sign up now to get the subscriptions. You can still get this month and then it will continue next month. There are some that you can buy just a one time. The paper pad of the month will be going away at the end of next week and it's called Bedtime. I shared that last week and it is a great card making. It was great for card making. I had a lot of fun using it last weekend or last week during my live, and you can buy them just as a one-off, or you can buy it as a subscription, and then you're guaranteed to get one each month, and it automatically bills you at the first. It automatically bills you, and then you will get it, but you can get it before it sells out because the subscription products are well supplies last. No, this one is 4. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I measure once and twice. Next week, I have something kind of fun. I actually am going to make my project tomorrow. I'm actually going to have a card ready in advance because I was talking with Jess earlier today and we were talking about some products and I'm like, oh, I can use that. I'll do that. So that is what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm also having some fun going to the Zoom, the design team. We have do some crafty Zooms for fun. And so tomorrow I am hosting a crafty Zoom in the afternoon for any of our design team so that we can just get together and hang out, as design team and talk and craft and things like that. So that'll be fun. Yes, the Sweet Friends that's the May friend. That's the one I was talking about. It's the May stamp of the incentive stamp. And if you don't know what that is, you can also go to the website. At the very top, there is a link that says incentive stamp. And you can click on it and see that. So it is not available for sale. It is free when you, like I said, spend at least $60. So if it is something you are interested in, it will not be able to be purchased separately. So this was 1.5 again. Sorry, measuring once, cut twice. So we're going to do it in about like right here. I should probably cut this one down this way first. So I save some of that paper. That's skinny. Okay. 1.5, so about right there. Sometimes it's hard for this. Yes, okay, yes, there is probably a Memorial Day sale coming up, so keep an eye on that. If you didn't watch Christopher's live last night, I do need to link it to the products, which I will do a little bit later this evening. The red, white, and blue things were amazing. I had to make sure I got those on their way to me so that I could start. I want to make some thank you cards. I have a friend who just did an honor flight with some local veterans, and you can send cards to them, and I think I would like to get some made up in advance so that I can have her have them for the next time she goes. Okay, I'm gonna grab some card bases just because these are A2 card bases. And then what the sketch shows me here, set this off to the side here, is that what we're gonna do is you take one of your pattern papers and you put it like this, and then you take your other one and you're going to put it, now she's got it, so I may have to cut this down. So she's got it, that's why her measurements was a little bit different than what I did, because she's got it perfect. Now you could do it like this. I think I'm gonna stay with her, so I'm gonna have to cut down just about 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch off the bottom of that because I really like that. And then the other one, where's my other card base? I had another card base here. I'll just grab another one. These are our A2 card bases that are made with our perfect blend, and I really love them. They're pre-cut and pre-scored. So then it will be kind of like this. So this is the basis of our cards. Okay. So I'm not going to quite put those together yet because we're going to do some ink blending and things. And then I still have plenty to make 2 more cards. So I'm going to put those off to the side. We don't need that anymore. And this is such a great base for any project that you can. Now, like I said, I have a bunch of the products cut out ahead of time. And the one thing I didn't grab was any of my inks. So I need a pink, and I'm going to use all Simon Hurley inks. I don't have any of the Stellar inks yet. I think actually I'll switch to a different one. I cannot wait to order the new colors. Later Gator. I grab some Weeping Willow, and I need some orange. We'll do a traffic cone. Okay, so I've got some Simon Hurley inks. And what I'm going to do is, I know I was talking to Heather the other day, and she said there were some people were asking about some of the stick and stamp mats, some questions about it. So I have a couple here. One way I like to use the stick and stamp mat, first of all, I like it with the blending buddy on it, because it can, when I use it with my stencils, and mine is very sticky, as you can see. I can put my A2 card base on there, and then it protects the edges. Now, if you feel like yours is super, super sticky, you can kind of put your hand on it a little bit like this. So like, I mean, oh, I have a magnetized thing. So it's like, see how sticky that is? Now, I will say cardstock matters. If you use a thinner, more inexpensive cardstock, it will stick and can tear. But the other thing is you want to bend it. So we're going to use ours with some die cuts tonight. And so what I'm going to do is we've got our little flowers here. And so this is the fun part where you can actually just use white cardstock. If you're not a person that wants to put a lot of colored cardstock, or you can't find colored cardstock to match, if you're using a company that has inks and you want to match your flowers perfectly, but they don't make cardstock, like Simon doesn't have cardstock, you can use the inks to blend and create your flowers. But today we're just going to do this. I want to start with a colored cardstock because I don't have to go so much with the blending. I've already got it started. I think I'm gonna have to cut one more of those out. Okay, well, we'll just put that one aside for right now. And the base is already there. So just gonna grab a pink Rosy Cheeks. And I did not get this far, but I am going to use one of Christopher's signature black signature brushes. I will add that to the collection after my live. I love these. They're very comfortable. I do have the bigger ones, but for something like this, I want to use the small ones. So, and what I'm going to do is I really want this color to be different, and then I'm going to do a little bit different, deeper color on this. And so I'm just going to go ahead, and I'm really not going to worry about doing the edges so much. And this is where, if you wanted to do a whole, you could grab and just, because it's the middle of this one, and they're going to dry back. So you don't have to worry about if you got it a little too deep. Let it walk away for a few minutes, let it sit and see what it looks like. But these full on images on this area, I would go in and use maybe the regular blending brush to do the whole thing. So because when you use this little detailed brush, it might take you a little while, because I do really just need to worry about where those petals are going to be showing, so that I can have a little bit of differentiate color. Sorry, it's hard sometimes for me to speak with my mouth in. I think I'm going to grab a little bit deeper color too, just because I'm thinking grab some Love Struck, which is more of a red color. And it can be blotchy. This can be blotchy because you're going to cover it up. So you don't have to have a perfect blend. Okay? And I don't know if you're going to, I will show you the pictures afterwards. I think we're going to add some sparkle to it, but it won't necessarily dry while we're live, of course. And then if you're not 100% sure, you can just pull over your flower and look. And so you can see, do I need to do a little bit more, or is it okay? And I'm just adding a little bit of fun color for some dimension, but it didn't have to have a second color cardstock. If I started with white, I might have had to blend longer, or you can actually blend your actual cardstock until you're happy with it. I am going to grab this pink, and we're just going to add a little bit of the color to this center. I'm not going to change the color. Thank you very much, Penny. I knew you couldn't do that. I kind of forgot about it, that part of the brushes tonight. When I was thinking about it, I was trying to, what else am I using? I just add just a little bit of color to that center. And like I said, it's going to dry back. If you're using a cardstock, let's say you're using like a Gina K ink and a Gina K color cardstock, and it's the same exact color, it may dry back to the point where you don't see it. So you might want to use a little bit darker color. If they are the same color, I don't have a lot of cardstocks and inks that match because I love the Bruce Monroe cardstocks and the Simon Hurley inks. But I know some people like to have it so that they match exact colors. So, all right. So like I said, when you want them to pop off, this is a little different than our die, but what you usually do is sound breaking up on anybody else's feed. Has anyone else got sound problems? If anyone, give me a thumbs up if you're okay, or if you're having some problems hearing, let me know. So I just bend it back, and you see how these pop off a little bit. I did put my phone on Do Not Disturb. It's jumpy. I can barely make out what I'm saying. Okay, let's try. I don't think. What's going on here? The sound is terrible. Interesting. All right, switch my cameras here, guys. Let's try something here. Sometimes if I use my other, I'm going to switch to my upper camera. Let us try. So anyway, I'm not getting all sick here. I'm going to try, see if this is any better. Oh yeah, I hear what you're talking about. It must be my internet. It's better? Okay. I'm going to try to turn this down. It must be my phone. Do you guys hear that echo? Is it really bad? Because I said I have, my sound is going on my phone. Let's see if I can fix that here. Okay, it won't let me go completely silent, but all right, we'll see if that works. Okay, it's better. Okay, then we'll try that. Because I can hear it sounds like it's my phone, which it's not that old of a phone. So that's, maybe I have an update coming for my iPhone. Okay. All right, there, no problem. I'll use my computer. Thank you for letting me know, and then I'll see what's going on. Maybe I'll restart my computer, my phone later tonight, make sure. Okay, so what I was saying is that if you didn't hear, I bend it back, and you can see the edges pop off, and then you can just pull it. Where if you leave it flat and try to pull it, a lot of times you will bend your cardstock. So you do not want to do that, okay? Thank you, guys, for letting me know. And then to clean this, I don't do a lot of cleaning of mine because I usually, when I ink blend little pieces, sometimes, to be honest with you, I ink blend them so partly I usually do it on my mat, but I just gently wipe it. I don't rub. And you rub it. I just have, this is just a baby wipe with no alcohol or anything. It's just the fragrance-free wipes. And then I just kind of let it just takes a couple seconds to dry. I'm just going to wave it in the air because for the live. And then because the air dry takes a little longer. It's not quite, my baby wipe was, yep. See, now it's getting, see? Just takes a few seconds for it to dry. All right. Next, let's do our yellows here. So I love a Black-Eyed Susan, and don't have any right now. I need to go check and see if they popped up at my other house because I planted some last year, but I didn't see them. And the kiddo was doing some gardening, so I wasn't 100% sure if they were there. So I need to go pop up. But my local florist didn't get any black-eyed Susans in when I asked him about it. I said Shastas. I should have said the black-eyed Susans, and he didn't get those either, which they're my favorite. So, and I also have some cone flowers that I planted this year. So I did get those in. So I got some Shastas, but I didn't get the black-eyed Susans yet. So these are going to be black-eyed Susans. And this is from the Fabulous Florals set. And this is a very, I mean, we've had this dye for a little while, but it's wonderful for adding just little extra flowers. Now, it doesn't have a lot of like how this one has some of the impressions. This is a kind of a basic, but you could run it through an embossing folder. You can add any kind of texture to it. So that's why it's a nice one just for it. And I'm just adding a little bit. This is the Slippery When Wet. The Psych would probably be a nice one to add a little extra color. We're just adding this to the center of our flowers just to darken them up in the middle a little bit. And then I just got some small pieces of brown cardstock and cut them out with the centers. I'm not going to do any like ink blending with them because they're very small. All right, let's pop those off. Like I said, bend it back. And I have a couple of them because we're going to layer them, you know, so they have different. And then the small one I'm going to do two like this. So, and then once again, just kind of gently. You wouldn't have to, I wouldn't have to, if I was using white cardstock, then I would, you know, probably want to definitely wipe it off, but I don't want to kind of mix you can mix your colors, but I don't really want to get them on the different ones. So especially if I was going to do, when I did the pink to the yellow is not so bad because it usually goes over. See? And you can tell when there's wet spots because those parts aren't as sticky as the other spots. And then once the air gets on there and dries, it dries off real nice. So I grabbed this flower as well, just to fill in from the Fabulous Florals. This one was from the Playful Petals. I'm just grabbing some extra. I like to have a brush for each color of the rainbow. And then if I'm adding an order and I need to get to like shipping, or I just like, let's say I have a gift card and I have just a little bit left, I may add a couple of extras on because it is nice if you can to have like a light pink and a dark pink, but it is not necessary. Just one for each color family is nice if you can. And then you can just take a microfiber cloth. This is the Brutus Monroe one, and you just go like this. And if you have a piece of scratch paper, you can kind of look to see, and look, there's nothing coming off of that. So it's pretty clean. Stick that to my stick and stat mat. Okay, so I just added a little bit of color to those. And then I'm not even going to wipe this one off this time because now we're going on to the green. So, and I'm just going to throw a bunch of these because they're all different. Some of them still have the pieces inside, but we're just going to darken them up so they have a little bit of fun dimension. Not going to worry about them being perfect. Kind of more towards the base of each color. So I'm just kind of sticking the bottom edges in. And these are from, like this one is from the Acorn and Twigs. And then these are from the Fall Foliage. And then the leaves that are the cutouts, that's the Perfect Petal die from, you know, that matches that very nicely. I just drew over on the floor. And then I'm going to use my later gator for that. Yes, the blending brushes can be bought individually or as a 6-pack, which is nice. If you want to get, you don't have any and you want to get started, you could buy that 6-pack to have, you know, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, your Reggie Biv. And then you can add on 1 or 2 if you want, or if you want to just try them out, you can buy one or 2 and try them and see what you think. I always keep my blending brushes. I have stepping blending brushes for my oxides, and actually I have them, but I don't use them. Like I have blending brushes, they're older blending brushes, but I use the Ranger daubers when I use my oxides because usually when I use those, I'm doing a full panel and I like to be able to use the dome. Those dome ones, they just work better for me. So I wanted to show you, this is the difference between the petal or the leaf that has the insert, like if you wanted to leave it in or if you wanted it open. So, oh, I should also, while I'm here, give a shout out to my baby brother and baby sister. It is their birthday today. They are a couple of years apart, but I want to say happy birthday to my sister Annie and my brother Dan. Hope you guys have a good day. I've talked to Annie. I have to call my brother after we get off. He's in the Western time zone, so I hadn't talked to him yet today. And then the other option you can do is you can also leave your dies in the paper like this, or put them in. You could put a little bit of low-tack tape behind them if you're having, like if it's very intricate, and then just hold it in place before you pop it out. And then when you go to ink blend it, you can, it won't bend or buckle. And then you can just throw those pieces away. Just adds a little bit of something. It might dry back a little bit. And if it, if you're not 100% sure, do your ink blending before you and let them dry for a little bit before you put them together. And then you can see if you want them to add more color to them. Sometimes you need to add a little bit deeper color. Like you could add a little bit of a light brown and it make it a little bit darker. So, okay, I'm going to grab these. We're going to start putting some of this together and getting our card put together. So one of my centers here, I didn't cut right. All right, so let's get all of our stuff glued together. Got my little glue press here, and this has the Barely Arts glue in it. If you're asking, yes, once you use up the glue that came with it, or if you, that's what I did for me. I haven't used it in a few days, so it is a little, probably needs to be poked. I filled mine up with the Barely Arts glue. Now I did find the first time I did it, because I had, it was towards the ends, I had some glue stuck in there. So I had to take the lid off and soak it in some hot water. And I haven't had issues. Remember, I think if you guys, some of you have been with me a few weeks ago, I was having some issues with it not working at all. And that's what I did to fix it. So I just soaked, I took this top off right here, put the regular top back on it for now. And then, or I just covered it so that it wouldn't, and then I just soaked it, and then it's been working ever since under some hot water. So, and I don't usually, if I was going to be gone for like a week, but I have not done any crafting since last weekend. So it's been open this whole time, and it is getting warmer. I mean, it's been a little cool this week. Excuse me. That it didn't dry up other than to maybe poke it. So I do like that. So and then we're just going to add some glue to the centers of our flowers. Glitter stock is fun to actually add with the centers too, but sometimes you can't get the right glitter stock. So then I like to just add some embossing powder to them to make them shiny, or some our shimmer splashes, or like the pearl aqua pigment, or the ornamental gold. So there's our Black Eyed Susans. And then before, we can also fluff them, but I'm not going to worry about fluffing them yet. These I didn't cut a center for yet, so we may have to do that. And I did not cut this one perfectly. So it was on the edge of the die cut machine, so it didn't cut perfectly, but it's okay. We'll just trim the edge a little bit. And then I also have this sanding block this one I got from Tailored Expressions, and I know you can get them at different stores. I just kind of blend off the edge. I will say don't blend on your table because you will scratch it. Ask me how I know. But I just use like a scratch piece of paper. Obviously, this is an order. And I just kind of add a little bit to the edge, and it will take that little, or if your plates are very worn and you're getting little nubbies on the bottoms of your on your dies, we'll take those off pretty nicely so that you can get those off of there. And then we're just going to layer them up a little bit. Like I said, I made a center for these. I think I have one extra brown. I don't know what I did with it. So, and then we got to glue these down together. I'm trying to figure out what that noise is. Somebody must be doing work outside, which is okay because it's not sending the dog to. Oh, you guys, it's so funny. I'm so glad. Haley was here today, obviously, and I was at work, and she sent me a photo. I got Fletch a solar bird feeder, which means that as the bird seat goes down, it becomes a solar light. So in the nighttime, you can see how, like if it, let's say there's this much bird feed in it, you can't see it, but as it goes down, the light goes like this, so you can see it. Well, last night, it was almost empty yesterday, so I thought, oh, let's just leave it. And in the morning, after Fletch and I went for our walk this morning, I took him over with the leash so he could see what we were doing, and I filled it. And I filled it all the way. Well, she caught the squirrel on it today. So her and Fletch were chasing the squirrel away. And it was kind of funny because, it was a live video that she sent me. So he's standing on the edge of it, and he's on the very tippy of the edge of the metal pole, trying to lean in and get it. So of course it's completely empty. The bird feeder is, but I'm just like, you know what? You guys are just going to have to live. Tomorrow we'll go get one of those. I'll go see if I can find, I don't know if my hardware store in town carries one of those like cone thingies you can put on there to keep him off of it. I'll have to see. If not, I'll just go to Amazon and order one. And it will be here on Tuesday. But I just thought that was kind of funny that I wanted to get it because we have a bay window, and Fletch loves when we are gone, when we're both gone, he spends a lot of time in that window. And then depending on the weather, if we have the front door open, he'll sit in front of the front door. But usually when I come home for lunch, he's sitting in the bay window waiting for me. And he sits there and he doesn't get up until he sees me step up to the front step. Then he runs up to the door like, hi, you're home. So look at how fun that extra dimension is for adding that little bit of color, but it's the same color cardstock. So it just adds a little bit of dimension and fun without having to cut out multiple colors. So we've got a lot of the flowers here. I'm going to use the same brown, I think, for the center of these. So I have one. We'll have to cut one else out quick. And then I will show you also, while we're cutting that out, I will show you what those other ones look like. Grab my handy dandy little sidekick here. A baffle. Yes, that's what she called it. I couldn't remember what you called it, and we were talking about it again. And I was like, what is it called? Yes. So it's funny because we have 2 trees in the front yard, and I really don't have a lot of squirrels in my yard per se. Like we have a bunch of trees, but they're mostly maple trees. I mean, we have squirrels all over the neighborhood, but I've not really seen them ever in my yard. So today when she showed me that photo, I'm like, well, I kind of half expected squirrels to show up at some point, but I didn't know because they're just never in my yard. And I think part of that is because that is one thing Fletch will chase like no tomorrow, is a squirrel. I'm like, if he sees it and I'm not prepared on our walks, I have to like run after him. And so the neighbor was laughing the other day because he saw me running as fast as I can behind this dog with this 15-foot leash because he's pulling me down the sidewalk because he's like, there's a squirrel, Mommy, there's a squirrel. Because he gets to go hunting for squirrels when he's out in the country. But in town, we don't chase the town squirrels. Okay, I wanted to show you what these looked like. This is the Playful Petals die. And this is the one, okay, so we've got, let's see, do I have a bigger piece? So this might look better. I think these might be these are 2 different sizes. You have one your dog hates. His name is Nemesis. Okay, this is too small. I need a bigger piece. Grab this pink piece. So this one has the side piece around it, and this one does not. Okay, and they're the same flower, but they're two different sizes, but that's just so they fit on here. So we'll cut them out so you can see them side by side. Yeah, it's that. And okay, so the rabbits and my dog have become okay with each other. Like he'll chase it. Like if he was gonna get loose, he will chase it. But when we first moved in, he would, and we'd tell him there was a squirrel and we had him attached to his leash. He would take off and almost choke himself. But now he kind of runs, but he knows better. Like he just runs them out of the yard. So, okay, so that is what it looks like. So you can just do them on a piece of paper. They are, Amanda, these are beautiful dies, these playful petal dies. So if you do not have these are some fun ones. Like I said, I do have 2 sets because I love the idea of having them to be able to cut them out as a flower or cut them out without having to layer them both up. I mean, you can. It's just for me personally, since I do a lot of crafting. So this is what it would look like. So you could cut this out of a full panel and just have the windows. And I believe there might be a sample on the page. If there's not, I will make sure the one that Christopher made where he did that, where he just used this one without the edge. See the difference? There's the edge. And he just cut some windows in them. And then of course, if you use the one with the edges, like I said, my dies are I haven't used this one a lot yet. So of course I just tore it because my paper was very stuck in it. It was not gentle. It cuts it as the floral with the outside edge. So let me pull those little edgy things off. So there you go. There's the difference. Okay. And of course, you could just put on the center part and you could pulse up the flowers. You've got all these little pieces. They can go back inside so that you could a paper piece, different colors inside. Or like me, if you wanted to, and you took them apart, you can do that outside edge to cut a second layer to, I'm going to toss that one there, to make a background piece, which is something I really like. Pup, pup. Okay. Let's get this last one put together and start putting our cards together. Not a lot of stamping on this one, just maybe a sentiment. And you wouldn't have to. If you were a die cut person, you could make a die cut sentiment. But we are going to do a stamped sentiment. We might die cut it out, but okay. So we got our greenery here. I remember what florals I used. I used some older washi tape from Pink Fresh to make my my floral scrapbook page that I have going up this week. I'm looking at some of them right now. I used some of them, and I don't remember. I stamped some flowers too on the scrapbook page. I have to pull it up. I have to finish editing it actually. So I'm going to make one that is similar using the different, excuse me, the different thicknesses of the mats. Okay, and of course I didn't glue that quite down straight. It's straight enough. We're going to cover that piece up because I tore it when I took it off. This is why liquid glue is very nice. I like liquid glue for card making. I like tape runner for crafting, for scrapbooking. All right, so we're just going to center that in and just pretend this one's straight, you guys, because it's not quite. Okay. And then is this one? I'm going to do the other one. Here are my extra pieces. Where did we put those? I just said I was going to use the different mats layers. And then, of course, I hid them. So I guess we're going to use this one. Oh, yeah. Nope. Okay, well, I guess we're not going to do that tonight. I was going to show the different mat layers, but I cannot find the ones that I put. I made the extra stuff. All right, so we're going to put this on. We're going to center it up as much as we can. Oh, this is the thinner one. So I did do it right. Okay. And you could totally change this up by using a different color. Like if you put the pink lagoon or the flamingo behind it, sorry, the pink or the phone book, that would totally change the dynamic of the card because of the matte layer. That is why I chose the orange flowers to be smaller, because there's already a lot of orange on my card. So I wanted the pink and the yellow. Of course, I wanted the Black-Eyed Susans, but I wanted the pink and the yellow flowers to be more of the focal point. So we are going to go with the sketch on this one, like I said, and put this up at the top, but centered. I may have to cut this one down a little bit because I think this is the wrong one. Okay, guys, what did I do with everything? This is the orange. Yep. We're going to find that. Here they are. Okay. Because I don't want to, I already cut these off, right? So we need the orange. So we need the orange for both of them. And I grabbed the yellow. So this one goes with this one, and this one goes with that one. Okay, there we go. So you can very easily put a bunch of cards together and get your backgrounds done like this one, and then figure out what your focal points are, whether you just use a sentiment and maybe a circle with an image on it, or a bunch of die cuts like this. You can make them as simple or as complicated as you really want to. Okay, so we need to make sure this one is like that. Look, looks a little bit more. There we go. Okay. And then we have to cut this one as well down. So let's do that one. Because like I said, I did not pay attention to the sketch, which is fine. You can change the sketch up however you want. But the sketch had it to the top. So if I was following those measurements, it would have, if I used her measurements, it would have been exactly perfect, but I had it just a little bit off. Look at the black part of your Tim Holtz mat. The part by your scissors looks like a wreath. Oh, this right here? Yeah, it does actually look like a wreath because it's only halfway. It does. You have morning squirrels and afternoon squirrels that drive the dog crazy. Oh, I don't know if Fletch could handle morning and afternoon squirrels. He keeps looking at me like, why are you talking about me, Mom? Okay, so I didn't quite center that up just a little bit, so I'm going to trim it down just a hair so it looks to the eye a little better. There we go. It does look like half a wreath. If I move it down, see? It's a swag. I just, I planned it that way, Susan, so that you would have a pretty swag wreath to look at while I was gluing. So we're going to, typical me, run over slightly. I'm sure you're all heartbroken. So there is the basis of our cards. Now you can take pretty much anything you want to finish these off. Like I said, I'm not quite centered on these, but like I said, if I send it to my mom, she isn't going to care. I think I can fix this one just a hair because the part you're going to see is not, I can cover. So what you can do is you pull it up and it's not quite, and you center it. And then when you go back down to put it down, you have a tear piece. I still don't know if that's straight. We'll make sure it's good enough. You can cover it. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to take some of our florals and we're going to add them. So I think we're going to just use them. And I've got one little orange one here. And then I've got one big yellow. We're going to do more pink on this one. And then an orange flower. And then you kind of just lay them out how you want. And it just kind of depends on what you want it to look like and how you want your sentiment to be, tucking them in. And then, like I said, I like to do a lot of extra greenery. If I'm going to go through the trouble of doing this, like a card like this, I don't mean trouble, but the extra time, I am going to take that extra time to cut extras out so that I don't have to go back through, you know, especially if you're making one card, you don't want to get to the point where you're like, oh, I need more. So it's always kind of nice to have a little bit extra. I'm just going to poke out the centers of these because I did not do that ahead of time. And then we're just going to start kind of filling in. So it's been fun on that bird feeder because we've had some woodpeckers. We've had some, we had a couple cardinals. I think it's just been daddy cardinals. I haven't seen the female cardinal yet. We've had some sparrows. We've had some finches. I think they've been the red finches. We had a mourning dove. They were down below this afternoon, and a blackbird, like a blackbird, the ones with that kind of have that iridescent head. That was down on the ground this morning underneath. I'm not sure what else we've had, but it's been fun. I haven't seen we did have an oriole the other day, which is weird because there's nothing that orioles normally want to eat on that. But that was kind of fun. I was going to get an oriole feeder as well but I just haven't gotten that far yet because I want to hang it versus have it on a bench or something like that, because I don't really have anything high enough. So I am going to tuck this but this one's bigger. So I think the bigger one is going to go with this leaf. And I see I do have a spot. And then these little tiny ones can go with this one. Now you could totally fill that in with some other greenery so that it's not open, but I like the openness. And then, you know, it's just filling in wherever you want with whatever greenery you want. I think that's looking pretty good to me. I'm going to grab one more of these leaves for this plant. And then I think we need just a little bit more greenery here. Let's do one more of these. And then I have plenty of extra greenery. I can stick them back in. I can either keep them in a little bin or I can go ahead and, you know, put them in with the stamp set and the die set. Ducks come off the lake around 5 for the bird's seed knocked off the ground. Yeah, that would be kind of fun. It's okay, Christy. I'm running over a little bit. Like normal, right? Very rarely do I end on time. Last week, I think it was literally a minute late. But we're going to be a little bit late tonight. Now, the one thing, I do have some. I'm going to grab my little fun like pressing seal because that'll make it a little bit faster. And I'm going to just get my big scissors and cut it in half. And I was just, Christy, talking about this, the bird feeder, and that finally the squirrels have found it. So today we had a squirrel trying to eat. So it is completely empty, and the birds are just going to have to wait till tomorrow. So, and then if you have the press and seal, you can pick it up and flip it upside down. And this is where you can add some foam tape if you want. But it's nice because you can use this, and now I can glue and flip it back. Now I do have a couple small pieces that need to be poked out here quick. So I want to do that, and then I'll put it right back in. We may cheat with our sentiment yet tonight. And then I'm going to grab, I'll use my glue press. I'm going to go ahead and add this one. I think we're going to stick these back in because they're not sticking. And I'm just going to add a bunch of glue to the centers of the flowers. And then a little bit by this greenery here. And then I'll add a little bit right here. And a little bit maybe to those couple of leaves. Hopefully these are going to stick to them. Okay, hopefully, here we go. All right, it might not be exactly where I had it before, but it works. Why is it so important to keep Finn Coffee happy? You don't know. Oh, thanks, Walter. Have a great night. Thanks, Kate. Like I said, the total design for these layouts completely came from the pattern paper. Amanda, this is not my idea. I can tell you this. I have seen this. Jennifer McGuire has used this. Other people people have used it. And you know what? I get rid of this unless it's very, very gooey, which it's not. I just take it and I stick it right back on my press and seal like this and reuse it. I don't know, Ale Nichols, why it's so important to keep Finn Coffee happy. And then you can go in with your little die and you can add in a little extra if you see where you didn't get some extra glue. It kind of depends on how much you want to have fluff. That reminds me that question you're asking is, I am a big popsicle eater and I've had a little bit of a cold. It's better this week than it was last week. As you can tell, I still have a little coughing, but I get like a tickle in my throat. And so for me, the best way to handle that is to get have a popsicle. Well, the first set's popsicles. I like sugar-free popsicles. They didn't come with the jokes. The second set from the same company did. So we've been doing lots of bad dad jokes when I eat the popsicles. I'm just going to fluff up these leaves a little bit, or the petals a little bit. And you can kind of fluff up what you want. This is where you can add some sparkle. So what I'll do for some sparkle is I'm just going to add some shimmer splash. You can use, like I said, just a paintbrush with some of the Pearl Aqua pigment. I just happen to have the shimmer, and I'm just going to add a little bit to the center of my Black Eyed Susan. And I'm just going to splatter a little bit. And of course, this is the one that this is where my sentiment's going to have to go because I accidentally tore that piece of paper. So I'm going to hide that. And then I'm going to pull these ones off too because they're not really sticking to my press and seal. The nice thing about using the press and seal, because I'm sure there's a way you could do your stick and stamp mat with this, is that you can see through it where you couldn't with your stick and stamp mat. Like you could totally push down and put your stick and stamp mat on top, but then you wouldn't necessarily be able to see it. But if it's exactly in the right, like, oh, this one is not in the right spot. So we're going to peel you off. That doesn't look right. And we're just going to stick these guys down. So they're very similar to each other, these cards are. And then you just carefully pull this off. And then, of course, the more delicate the die, the more careful you have to peel off. It depends on how much glue you really use. And then I can stick this one down right here. Like I said, you could do some pop-ups with some foam tape if you really want to. I'm just going to do some normal and then add these little ones in. And then we're going to do a quick sentiments. This is when if you have like a sentiment jar that has some sentiments ready to go, is perfect. I kind of forgot about the sentiment part until we started going live. So what I think I'm going to do very quickly is I think we're going to do pink with this one. And I'm going to do, actually, we're just going to do black because I want them to stand out. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the Celebrate Flowers stamp set because it does have some coordinating dies for the sentiments. And I'm just going to do the thank you. I think I forgot to tell you guys that why we were doing this, first of all, was because the CYOE challenge, which is through the rest of this week, is florals on the Brutus Monroe channel. And you do the, I'm going to do a colored cardstock too. No, we're just going to do white. I'm just going to grab white because I'm not exactly sure what color I want to do right now. That is, you do a floral card. You need to use one Brutus Monroe product at least. And then you use this tag, the hashtag CYOE challenge. And you are entered to win a possible $25 gift certificate or store credit to the store. There is no special, everyone can enter. Penny's grandson has entered. He's won. It is completely random draw. So, you don't have to be, you can be a beginner, or you can be an expert, anything in between. It's just, you can enter 2 projects. So it just needs to have, like I said, something floral and a Brutus Monroe product of some sort. And we have plenty of paper pads that have florals on them. And then, of course, these dies. This is one of the reasons. And we just had the recent stamps from the Spring Fling. There's a few other stamps that are out there that we have that are nice that you can use. They just need a floral. So I need one more piece of cardstock here. So, all right, guys, we're going to finish this up here. Probably need to add some gems. Here we go. I think I'm going to stamp one more time right here. All right. I'll clean that off later. And then we're just going to cut these out very quickly. Now, one option you could do is that you could cut out multiple, and I would use, like, this is where I like to use some Not Your Mama, especially Not Your Mama scraps, and cut like 2 layers of the Not Your Mama's cardstock scraps out because it's so thick, and then you don't need to use some foam tape, and then you can stack your sentiments and they just pop off the page. That's really fun. So, all right, let's get the last of these done. Got the thank you. And this is the one where I need to put it at the bottom because I actually, like I said, when I tried to fix that, I tore it a little bit. So we're going to put the thank you right here. And look at that sentiment. It's so perfect for something like this because it's just nice, big, and chunky. The other one that's in that is Celebrate, which is great for a floral card for any reason. You know, you could add this, use these dies to make the right color if you knew the color for a wedding. And use the Celebrate, a Mother's Day card, a birthday card. You know, florals are always nice for thank you cards. You know, thinking of you. So we've got this one. I didn't fluff this one up a little bit. You know, and I'd like to fluff it and then I not worry about it too much because sometimes that gets squished in the mail. I think this one we're going to do it like right here. So we're just going to glue those down and then maybe grab some gems quick. So, I wanted to say, make sure that, you know, if you're new to our channel or you're just watching us, catching me live this weekend, on Mondays, Sarah Scraps goes live. And this next week on Monday, she will be crafting live. She is going to go live early, an hour early. So 6 o'clock Central, 7 Eastern. She is going to use a sketch and scrapbook. She did post the sketch in the Brutus Monroe fan club page. I will also have it uploaded to our Facebook page and Instagram on this weekend, maybe Sunday, just so that you can start thinking about if you want to sketch along or play along with her sketch and get some products available. It's, you know, it's all, the sketch doesn't have to be exact. Like I know there's a floral in the corner. You wouldn't need a floral. It's just like an image type thing. And she'll go over all of that different items. I hope to plan to grab a few things and play along on that night. Yep. Scrapbooking. Yes, Amanda, she is going to do a scrapbook layout. I have plans to do one coming up, I think sometime soon, but I need to plan it like ahead of time, so that I know exactly what I want to do and get most of it kind of pre-planned, because sometimes that takes a little bit. They can be more in depth and longer. So let's add some gems. Let's grab some crystals. These are the crystal gems. For Francie, if she's watching later, get your goggles out, Miss Francie, because I'm going to get my pokey tool. I'll put 2 there. I'll put 1 here and maybe 1 here and 1 there. That's 5. And then on this one, we'll do a couple down here by the sentiment, a couple up here, and maybe 1 there. So I'm excited to actually play along with her on Monday night. So that's funny. My boss is gone, right? Had to be gone for he left a little early and he's like, I'll see everybody on Monday. And I looked at him and I said, are you sure? Are we coming in Monday? Or is it Tuesday? I mean, I didn't care because I'd go in a Monday if I needed to. And he's like, oh yeah, that's right. I said, well, I mean, do we need to come in on Monday? He goes, absolutely not. We're not working Monday. He said, it's a holiday. And I said, that's okay. I just thought I'd double check. So that'll be a nice, relaxing day. It's graduation weekend here in our town. So there's graduation parties. I don't have any to go to here in town this year. I don't really know a lot of the graduates. Most of my kids have graduated and most of the kids I know have graduated. So probably skip graduation. I know my daughter is going to her cousin's graduation this weekend. She's graduating from college. So she is going to pop over. That worked out perfect for her to come home so she could see her cousins. So there we go, you guys. So you go ahead and grab some pattern paper, use that as your color scheme, or you could do some stencils and ink blending, and then grab some floral dies or florist stamps and make a fun card with a simple sentiment. We added some bling to this one with some, and I mean, it's not a perfect color around that. I mean, I still could do a little bit more. I could also thin it out. I could have thinned it out with a little bit of water, but I do like the extra shimmer. And then I like the fact with the shimmer splashes, you get the little paintbrush. I know some of them are out of stock right now, but you can also use the Pearl Aqua pigment in a paintbrush. Thanks, Penny. And here is the second one where we just added the sparkle with the gems to make it a little bit more simpler. But I mean, 8:15, and I probably took about a half an hour to die cut the flowers out ahead of time. So, 2 cards in 2 hours. Well, thank you, Amanda. I will get pictures taken tomorrow and uploaded. I'll take a thumbnail and then I'll get them uploaded to my Instagram and Facebook and the Brutus Monroe fan club page as well. So I appreciate you all so much. Like I said, you can check out the collection. I will add it to the Brutus Monroe YouTube channel description and my channel, so you can find that collection if you want. It will be in there until next Friday. Next Friday, I will change the collection to something else, what I'm going to use next week. So thank you all for joining me. Oh, I was going to show you some of you guys what Haley was working on. So I know Walter is gone, but this is what Haley has been bedazzling. So if you look, she's got this one done. She's got this one to do. And then, so this, she's been doing this the whole time while we were crafting. So she was crafting along. So just wait till this is done. It will be great. So thank you guys all for joining us. And I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Happy Memorial Day. Yeah, he is going to love it. I know. I may, after she's done, take a picture of myself wearing it so I can send that to him. So, and if she ever decides to get rid of it, I'll tell her to mail it to him. So have a great night, you guys. I will catch you all next week. Okay? Bye.